I started Vipassana in my mid-20s. Has anyone heard of Vipassana? It's like this 10-day meditation retreat where you take a vow of silence. They separate the men and the women. You're meditating from 4:30 in the morning until 9:30 at night. You have some breaks. They only feed you twice a day. But it's total isolation. You can't even look at people in the eyes. You've just got to fucking get on with your meditation. I did that 7 times. It is what I would refer to as full contact meditation. It's brutal. It was really difficult. And I did it for a long time and it was very helpful. But then after a while, I needed something that was a little bit more my style. And I found Vedic meditation, which is also known as transcendental meditation. Okay, Vedic meditation is the core, the roots. Transcendental meditation is a brand of Vedic meditation that is dominant throughout the world in meditation circles. Both are great. They're both essentially exactly the same thing. One is just governed by an incredible, quite a strong and powerful organization, and the other one is quite liberated and free in its distribution and and the way that the information is shared. But they're essentially both exactly the same thing. But the practice is, whether you're doing Vipassana or whether you're doing Vedic or whether you're doing TM, is to become more conscious through the application of mindfulness and through the application of becoming aware. Vipassana is incredible because it's all about sensory awareness. You're tuning into the body and the sensation of the body. Vipassana means to see things as they really are. And when you start practicing Vipassana, after a while, you start to realize that your body is nothing more than a massive vibration. Okay, it's a massive energy that's just vibrating. And transcendental meditation or Vedic meditation creates a higher state of consciousness and mindfulness through the application of focus to a single mantra over and over and over and over and over. And that single-mindedness gives rise, as does the focus on the sensation, gives rise to you being, because what do you think, who here has ever tried to meditate and like, fuck, this shit don't work for me? Has anyone ever had that same scenario when they go into the gym, they start working out and they go, oh, fuck, it hurts, this is definitely not for me. Most people don't understand. When you go to the gym, the goal is to experience pain. That's where the results come from. And when you first start meditating, what do you think is the ultimate goal? Because who finds it hard to meditate because you're constantly fucking distracted by your thoughts? That's the fucking goal. The goal in training is pain. The goal in meditation is to become aware of when you are in thought. Because you're sitting there going, gushvaba, 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 gushvaba. Oh, fuck, what have I got to do? Oh, this motherfucker, I've got to do the kids, I've got to pick up the kids. And then all of a sudden, your goal is to go, oh, hang on a second, I'm not thinking about gushvaba anymore. And then you go, right, back to gushvaba. Who's seen anger management, right? So the goal for meditation is to just become conscious and catch yourself when you're distracted from the single point of focus. The goal is to become aware of when you're distracted, because at first you'll be distracted every 3 to 4 seconds. You'll be like, going off, going off, going off. But then the more you bring it back to self, all of a sudden you go from being able to only concentrate on, your self sensation, your breath, okay, or the mantra for 3 to 4 seconds at a time. When you first start training in the gym, you can lift maybe a couple of kilos, you can maybe do 4 or 5 reps before you have to put it down. But the more you keep going back, the heavier the weights are and the longer and the more reps you can actually do. And the same is true with meditation. The better you get at catching yourself, before you know it, you'll be able to focus on sensation, breath, okay, your mantra from 3 seconds, and then before you know it, it's 10 seconds before you get distracted, and then you bring yourself back. And then it's 20 seconds, and then it's 30 seconds, to the point where, you can get to the point where you can have, in some cases, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60-minute meditations where you are just purely in the mantra. You're purely in sensation. You're purely in the prana, in the breath. And then you come out of it. Now, here's the cool thing. Guess what consciousness does to your brain? It starts to completely rewire it. It gets both of the hemispheres communicating at a much higher level. It regulates the autonomic nervous system. It encourages and produces more neural development, and it actually creates an environment of what's called homeostasis in the brain, where the brain is actually able to relax and release stress. Has anyone here ever tried to meditate before but they fall asleep? Okay, that is also a symptom of exhaustion. And that is also a wanted system, because what meditation will do is it'll actually allow you to sleep better, because it brings your exhaustion up to the surface. It is in most cases trapped within your cells. It brings it up to the surface, and then all of a sudden you find yourself having these big, long, deep sleeps every night. You find yourself falling asleep in meditation. If you're falling asleep in meditation, that's great, keep going. What science tells us is 20 minutes of deep meditation is the equivalent to 3 to 4 hours of deep REM sleep. 20 minutes of meditation is the equivalent of 3 to 4 hours of deep REM sleep. This is why some of these Buddhist masters were renowned for not sleeping, because all they did is fucking meditate and they didn't need to sleep because they were in a constant state of homeostasis. This is an incredibly powerful process only when used. And the goal here is to create an environment of consciousness, an environment of awareness where we start to apply these things on a more regular basis. The goal here is to create an environment, an awareness, and a consciousness around the impacts that our psychology actually has on not just our environment, but also our ability to perform, but also our biology.
Hey YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to know in the comments below, what was your number one takeaway? Give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this in your feed, and share this with someone you think that it might actually help. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.